morning. I just took a shower and I'm in the middle of just kind of like putting some moisturizer on my face. I'm also in the middle of actively avoiding washing my sheets. I hate that task. I hate taking the duvet cover off of our bed because it's just so cumbersome, but I have to do it while Bryan and Nash are on a walk because trying to do anything with Nash, like bed related, is such a chore because he thinks that you're playing and he'll like hop on there and play with the sheets and sit on the pillows and all sorts of other things. So I've got to get that done while they're out. How was it, Nash? We enjoyed a nice little breakfast. We caught up on some Kara and Nate. And then Bryan is going out to mow, but I have to show you. Nash hates when our family is apart. He just hates it. Maybe because his entire life has been spent in quarantine and so he thinks that families are just together all the time. So when Bryan goes out to mow the lawn, we have to open every window in the house so that Nash can kind of follow him the entire time that he mows. So the ones in the kitchen are already open. Do you see your dad in there? No. Let's go in here. So we lift up the blinds so that Nash can have great viewing angles of dad. Who is it, Nash? Is that your dad? Do you see him? Yeah. Yeah. As y'all know, I'm a big fan of the Define dish, both on Instagram and then this is her cookbook that I rave about all the time. And I went ahead and downloaded her little printable recipe checklist so that you can see how much of her cookbook you've actually cooked through. So we've been making a concerted effort to kind of vary our meals and really get things out of every category. So I'm gonna go through here and see if we can find anything new to cook, and then I'm gonna check off the rest of what we cooked from last week. But then I also have this binder. For those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, you probably haven't seen me talk about this, but I printed out a bunch of recipes of hers and other people that I like that I just wanted all in one place. And I kind of forget to look in here sometimes. So I'm gonna use this as inspiration for this week's meals. And then we're probably, there's a mountain cat or a bobcat or something in our yard. I'm all kinds of shaken up right now because I was just in the middle of talking about all these recipes and then like a bobcat walks across our yard that's probably about the size of Nash, if not a little bit bigger, which we've been warned about those in the past. Like we have a lot of like nature going on in our neighborhood. Anyway, I just ran outside to tell Bryan because he's just innocently out there doing the yard, which I'm sure the thing would have been more scared of him, but I'm like, what if he would have gotten attacked? That's so scary. What a day, what a day. All right, I just finished making our grocery list for the week. And when I'm doing this, I always try to go into the fridge or the pantry and figure out what we already have. And then I find recipes so that I can use all of that stuff up. So for instance, celery. We hate celery. We never want to use it in anything. We don't eat it alone with like peanut butter. And I feel like celery is polarizing and that we're not alone in that. So I found this really good looking soup. It's called, it's like an Italian celery soup, but it has chickpeas and tomato and orzo. And we already had orzo. We already have chickpeas. We always have chickpeas. And we still are making a concerted effort to eat vegetarian like once or twice a week. So this is what I do. I write down what we're making at the top, and then I write down all the ingredients down here so that I don't forget what we're making, because sometimes I do that during the week. And it looks like we really don't need much to make all of this. We're gonna have sausage balls just because when it starts getting around the holiday time, I love to cook these. And I know I'm being premature. I'm just so excited. So those are really good, like quick little breakfast bites. Sometimes if we're not super hungry in the morning. And then, okay, I know I said chicken lemon here. I meant lemon chicken, AKA chicken piccata, but Bryan hates chicken piccata. He has some irrational thing against chicken piccata. He's never had it, but one time during busy season, somebody on his team ordered chicken piccata for dinner and like the entire room that they were working in all night smelled like it. So I'm gonna try to convince him that we're having lemon caper chicken and just not call it chicken piccata and see if he has an issue with it. I'll update you later this week. Okay, I've decided it makes the most sense for me to go ahead and do a quick Peloton ride. I think I'm gonna do 30 minutes. and then take a shower, get ready, go to the grocery store, and then maybe edit a video. I filmed one yesterday and I need to get some up close shots of some things, so maybe knock that out. And I need to do my little Sunday summary on Instagram. Poor Nash. He's not allowed to be in the room when I do Peloton because he's developed this nasty habit of putting his nose up against the wheel of the bike. And it doesn't hurt him, but it just makes me really nervous, and I don't know why he does it. So let's try to figure out what ride I'm gonna do. I already got my water. Another thing that I do every time is put a towel on my handlebars. And I think I learned this from just like going to the spin studios all the time, but it really does help if you are like me and you're super duper sweaty. Having it in the bedroom has not been an issue at all. It was a big debate for a while where we were gonna put it. We have a really big space, so like it really fits kind of perfectly over here. Now to find my 30-minute ride. Ooh. Safe to say that was one of the worst rides I've had in a while. I got the worst cramps in the middle of that ride and had to get off the bike for like a minute or two. Does anyone know of a way to pause on Peloton? Because I exited the class and it was like, you still have a class in progress, but I lost like 2 minutes of the class. So if you know how to pause on Peloton, let me know. Maybe that's something I'll look up. Also, this is bothering me. Nash, are you a unicorn? He said, yeah. After my bath, I get my curly whirlies back. Let me touch it. He says, no thanks, Mom. We're also heating up some Torchies. It's a taco place that's prevalent in Texas, and we love their queso. It is the best. And then we also have some guacamole that's not looking super appetizing because it's turned a little brown since. Our favorite salsa, which is, what's it called? Rick's. We like the medium kind. It's very spicy. We got the hot kind once, and it blew us out of the water. And we're spicy-loving people, so that's saying something. And then we just reheated some leftovers, which is the turkey taco skillet from the Define Dish. We ended up pouring the queso on top of it, but on the whole, this dish is not super flavorful to me. I feel like we need to add something. Bryan thinks spice. I think salt. And we think we should dump the salsa on there too. Should we? Is it just gonna make it cold though? That's a thought, right? Oh, and you are also supposed to eat this with chips. Like that's how she intended it to be served, but we were just having a miniature debate on that because I like to eat it with the chips because I love corn chips. But Bryan wishes he could put it all in a tortilla because this takes too long.
And it's too messy.
Yeah, I suppose, but I don't know. It's kind of different. Just pulled up at Whole Foods and I'm sad that I did because it looked so crowded. I waited too long and should have gone a lot earlier in the day, but I wanted to have a chat about grocery stores really quick because we have plenty in our area. Like we are not like wanting for different grocery stores. In fact, we have so many that it's a little paralyzing because we have our certain things that we want from those grocery stores. We are also people that don't want to make several grocery store stops in one. So we have to like sacrifice each week the things that we want. So Whole Foods went out this week mostly because they carry the cold brew that Bryan loves. I have my old school grocery list here, which I showed you earlier, but I'm somebody that does not like to have my grocery list on my phone. I want it in paper form. I feel like I've just been talking to this phone all day. I just finished my little Sunday roundup on Instagram where we chatted through some fun things like what I'm cooking, working out, reading, watching, things like that. So if you've never tuned in for that, I definitely encourage you to join on Sundays because it's been fun. People really like to see what's going on, and a lot of us are starting to read the same things and have, you know, fun banter back and forth. So definitely check that out. Now I'm going to take a little break. I did finish going to the grocery store, got everything I needed, and it was actually pretty quick. So not as painful as I thought, and it was not nearly as crowded as I thought it was going to be. Now I'm going to sit on the couch and watch the latest Hallmark Christmas movie with Nash while we just relax and have a partially lazy Sunday before I start to edit the October favorites video that I filmed yesterday. I'm going to flip this around and show you. I have no idea what this movie's called. It's called Jingle Bell Bride, but I have been watching this for probably 30 minutes and haven't seen anything related to weddings. So not exactly sure of the premise. And I think I also started it like halfway through. I'm sitting here trying to decide if I want to make the sausage balls and dinner tonight. Dinner tonight is going to be, it's like Mediterranean orzo chickpea stuffed peppers, which I think will be really good. We bought the ingredients last week and then totally forgot that's what we were supposed to be cooking this week. But at Whole Foods, I did pick up this new Waterloo flavor that's lemon lime, and it really does taste like Sprite, just without sugar. And it's pretty good. So now we're just gonna have cooking time with Maggie, and I'm gonna share with you everything you never asked about in the kitchen. Our salad shooter. Nash is already back 7 seconds later because he knew there was cheese on the line. Salad shooter. This is something that I always grew up with my mom using to shred cheese. Never used this for lettuce, truthfully. But we like to keep shredded cheese on hand, and since this recipe required some, I just figured I would shred the whole block. You can just drop like 2 chunks, however much will fit in there, and then you put this little feeder tube on it. Can you come hold my phone while I do this? I hired a cameraman. So then you just turn it on. Grated cheese in an instant. And then you have some to share with your dog who loves cheeses. Good boy, sit. Oh, wow, good job. And that's all. Now I'm just gonna grate the rest because we like to use this throughout the week on, I don't know, anything. And also another thing that is common in our family is that when you're cutting any sort of cheese, you have to deliver a slice to somebody in the family and say, do you want some charcuterie? And so Brian's behind the camera, so he's gonna eat some charcuterie. You know you're new to vlogging when every single time I turn on the camera, I accidentally take a picture of myself first because it's not on the video setting. So I have so many pictures of me like, I didn't do a great job of letting you know how making the sausage balls went. I got too into it and I was like, I need to get this going because time's a ticking. I really needed to focus on making the sausage balls because I remembered halfway through that they take longer to cook than the recipe states. I still have like half the batter from the sausage balls because it makes a ton, which is great. A little goes a long way with like very few ingredients, in my opinion. We'll make a second batch of these, but I'm gonna do that after dinner's ready because I just don't wanna take up the oven with those. So I'm gonna get dinner started. We're having, again, those Mediterranean stuffed peppers that I think will be really good. I cannot impart on you how delicious this is. Also, it calls for feta cheese, so I know it's gonna be one of my favorite dishes ever because feta cheese is like up there. Like, I think that extra sharp white cheddar cheese might be my favorite cheese in the world. Feta is like a close second. And the reason being, and I joke about this all the time with my friends and family, I like flavors that punch you in the mouth. That's how I describe it. Really spicy foods. I like really flavorful foods. Anything that just has a kick or a punch to it. This has so many punchy flavors in it. It has like this great turmeric in it, olive oil, olives, like everything that is just so salty and punchy. I can't wait. This is the beautiful, delicious filling that's gonna go in the peppers. It's the same bowl that I made the dressing in. So then you just put the orzo in and you pile everything in on top. So it is pretty easy. The last step of this process, and I have too much going on over here, is to put this filling into these peppers that cooked in the oven for 20 minutes. Put them in for an additional 5 minutes just to warm this through, and then you top it with additional feta cheese and parsley. I can't wait. Brian always likes to drink his beer out of a glass. And he's now stepped things up a notch and has started putting the glass in the freezer before a meal.
Of course. No other way to do it.
I just opted for wine. And then here's what our final meal looks like in our favorite bowls. It'll make them taste even better. We're gonna capture Brian's reaction to the dinner. He just rode the Peloton.
I'm doing the beginner's course. As far as I know, I've done 2 tiers, but I think you do 2 rides for each tier, and then they more or less introduce you to different instructors. They do, I would say, varying levels of covering the basics. I did a ride with Tunde, which is in the 2nd tier, but in my opinion should be in the 1st tier. It wasn't that difficult of a class, but she did a phenomenal job of covering the basics. So,
which was, if y'all remember, my first complaint ever when I got on the Peloton for the first time, because I'm very used to being corrected in my classes all the time, like hips back, get the weight out of your arms, like sit on the widest part of your saddle, make sure that your heel is leading when you pedal, all this stuff. It's constantly talked about, and on Peloton it's not. Nash is barking at a ghost.
Yeah, they're freaking good.
You heard it here first. Dinner was so good. Exactly as good as I expected it to be after tasting it 900 times, before we actually had it. But Brian loved it too. And he was like, what is on this orzo? It seriously was so good. I'll be sure to link to her blog post where she tells you the recipe. Duh. And anyway, I don't know if I've ever mentioned, but we have a cookie guy, just casual cookie guy. He's based out of Dallas. His name's the Dough Dealer, and he started this whole little operation during quarantine. And so you legitimately order on his website that he has, and then you go to his apartment and pick it up. which is kind of funny, but his cookies are outstanding. And this is the Campfire Delights, I believe. And they're snickerdoodle cookies, and they have a piece of chocolate in the middle and then this marshmallow in the middle. And it is amazing. It is the best cookie form of a s'more you've ever tasted. They're done. You just have to actually wait for these to cool, or else the chocolate will split out of the bottom of these cookies and you'll lose perfectly good chocolate on your mat, which is just unacceptable. And now we're cooking our second batch of the sausage balls. You measure them out to like 1 tablespoon each, we learned, and you definitely need to follow that. Otherwise, you'll be cooking these things for like 45 minutes. So definitely follow her instructions. You can see we've let it cool enough because none of the chocolate's seeping out of the bottom. Oh, it's breaking. But look at this. Okay, that was a bad tear, but there's the inside. These are kind of doughy. Oh, it's so good. I am so tired. It's only 8:30, but I think after being on my feet for seriously like 3 hours in the kitchen cooking stuff between the sausage balls and then our dinner, and then we had the bright idea to go ahead and cook the cookies that we had in the freezer, I'm so tired. And Nash is super wound up, and I'm legitimately hiding in our bedroom from him because he's being so crazy and I just don't have the energy. So I think, also notice, there are still no sheets on this bed because I've also been avoiding that. So, okay, what I think I'm gonna do is put the sheets on the bed, start editing the favorites video, or maybe this vlog, one or the other, so that I can get 2 videos up this week, and then settle in, maybe finish my book. It's gonna be a good night. It's been such a good Sunday. It's been so gloomy and so rainy and chilly, and it was all after we did everything that we needed to do, like after Bryan mowed the lawn and after I went to the store, and so it was just perfect timing. So we've really loved this Sunday. Hopefully you had fun following along with us near this vlogging thing, but if you like this video, then like it, stick around, subscribe, join the community, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.